Hey guys, it is Brad with College SportsCast. We are here tonight to do our 13th episode this season of the Big Blue HoopsCast. Enjoy the starting lineups for Kentucky LSU women's.
Carolina, number 7, at forward a 6'3" junior from Albury, New South Wales, Australia, number 32, Amelia Hansen.
Okay, it says my browser failed to play the video.
Carolina, number 7, at forward a 6'3" junior from Albury, New South Wales, Australia, number 32, Amelia Hansen. At center, a 6'5" sophomore from Buffalo, New York, number 13, Maya Stratton. At guard, a 5'8" senior from Greenville, North Carolina, number 10, Deja Flores. And at the point, a 5'6" graduate from Madeline, Victoria, Australia, number 3, Norma Abel.
All right, there it is. This is Brad with College SportsCast. Got John Hammonds here with me. We're here to do episode 13, guys, of the Big Blue HoopsCast. What's up, John?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going. Let's put it that way. All right. If you're on Facebook with us, you can help support us by sending stars, or you can subscribe to our page. It's only 99 cents a month, and you do get your own subscribers chat and your own subscribers page. And it does help support us to continue to make more content for you guys. So I want to get that out of the way right off the bat. All right, John. Honestly, we have a couple of losses to kind of dig into and talk about. But in less than 2 hours, the men play, so we're going to preview that game. But before we do on the men's side, we are going to talk a little bit about the women's side. And I started out the show there with the starting lineups. It was a sellout crowd versus LSU on Sunday. And the Cats jumped out early and looked pretty good, but they wound up losing late to a very, very good LSU team, by the way, coached by Kim Mulkey. They lost 65 to 58 to LSU. LSU's one of the top 4, 5, 6 teams in the country. And John, Kentucky had a 16-point lead in the second quarter.
They did. You don't want to talk about moral victories when it comes to games, but I feel like this game was a lot, better than the Texas game. Texas was more out in front the whole game. Kentucky women have I was going to tell you, I told you before, I kind of wanted to, I'm not upset at them. I'm just disappointed. They've hit a wall when it comes to playing the top teams. Texas, LSU, for example, they can't seem to finish. They get, the LSU game, they was up 16. Everything was going their way, and it seemed like they just couldn't make shots. They couldn't hit. They went
second half. They just couldn't throw it in the Atlantic Ocean.
They could not. And LSU ramped up the defense a little bit. LSU plays our style, I think, a little bit. They like to run. They like to play inside out. They got some really great guards. We got some really great guards who I think are still one of the top guards in the SEC and not just the country. With Georgia Amore, Deja Lawrence, this is a fun team. And you know, with their schedule coming up, you know, they got Tennessee coming up, and then they got the game against South Carolina, which is Sunday, which is going to be even a tougher game because South Carolina is going through kind of a lull after losing to UConn. You know, tough stretch, Brad. You know, and I've said SEC basketball is not going to get easier. I've said it from the men's side.
So the season's winding down here. I mean, the girls only have these 2 games left, the ones you just mentioned. That's it. The regular season is finished. I can't believe that we are that close to the end of the season. I mean, listen, the girls are 21-5. They're 10-4 in the SEC. And I'm going to be honest with you. They are a little better than I thought they would be. I picked them 20-8 before the season started. I said they would be 20-8. They're 21-5, and they got 2 games left. So they're a little better than what I thought they would be. And I was trying to be optimistic when I picked them 10-8, to be quite honest with you, preseason. But you know, I want to dig into this LSU game just a little bit. So, second quarter, man, the girls were playing so good. I mean, Georgia Amore had a play in the second quarter, and I'm going to try to play this clip that was absolutely just spectacular. So,
yeah, it was special.
The LSU point guard is trying to bring the ball up the floor, and she tries to pass it up the floor. And Georgia Amore, who, by the way, is 5'6" if she's lucky, okay? If she's lucky, she's 5'6". She jumps up, and it's almost like she skies. I mean, she jumps up. She swats the pass down when they're trying to throw it up. And then she tips it to herself and goes in for the layup. You got to see this. It's spectacular.
Good box out by Smith on Silva. Chance here for Flage on the move, and Amore jumps into the passing lane, tips it to herself, and lays it up and in.
I mean, guys, I got to show that one more time. If you didn't see it, watch closely.
Good box out by Smith on Silva. Chance here for Flage on the move, and Amore jumps into the passing lane, tips it to herself, and lays it up and in.
Just an absolute spectacular play from Georgia. You know, she's one of the best guards in the country. And here's what I want to say. So the girls are having a little bit of trouble closing the games out. But Georgia Amore has been there before. And with her help, if she will dig down, I think they can learn to get some of these games and maybe win 1 or 2 that they're really not thought to win down the stretch here in the postseason, because Georgia Amore has done it before. She led Virginia Tech to the Final Four. She beat Tennessee in the Elite Eight. I mean, she led them to an ACC championship last year, the regular season championship. The ACC is a very good league in women's basketball, and she's been there before. I just want to see her have that little bit more of an edge late in the games against these good teams.
Yeah, and listen, you know, Kentucky, they had, between Georgia and Deja, they had 25 combined points. They had 16 from Amore. Clara Strack had 12 points.
All right, guys, Just real quick, this is Deja Lawrence's mother that's in here with us, by the way. We appreciate you.
Yep. And she was 6 from 6 from the field. I thought they played really well. There was just, they couldn't hit late in the game. And it's, it's tough. It's really, really tough when you're wanting to get past that moment where you.
It was an amazing play in person, by the way. Sorry, I'm just going through some of what she's saying.
Okay.
Oh, me. Like, they play so well. I mean, we were cruising in the second quarter in this game. And then after halftime, I don't know. We had 20 points in the second half.
Oh, and it wasn't just it wasn't just this game. It was the Texas game. I felt like it was the A&M game. Missouri game. Felt
Sharita
sort of like
Mosley is Deja Lawrence's mother, and I appreciate. I got to see her the other night for senior day. Tayani, just honestly, she shows up every time except for a few times when she's got in foul trouble. And she picked up 2 fouls inside of a minute or two. She tried to drive and picked up her second. It was a crappy call. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that she should have picked up that foul, but she got 2 fouls inside of a couple of minutes, and it was really, really tough on her. She really wasn't in the game the rest of the game, to be honest.
It's a tough stretch right now for the girls, and I think coming up Thursday with
Sharita
Tennessee.
says it was 2 minutes. It was pretty close to that. I agree. Go ahead, John.
I don't know. I don't know what I guess you was reading what she's.
I did. I was talking about Tiana, and she said it was 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Where she picked up her fouls.
Tennessee, was coming in. I think this is a huge game coming up.
It is.
I want to see the girls break through. And I think this is a big game for the double bye to get that double bye.
It is. I'm definitely going to get to that part here. The one thing I want to bring up here in this game that was good, all right, because I think the girls are going to need her. We were talking about Tiani getting her second foul.
Yeah.
This game, Claudia Silva had her best game in SEC play. She had 12 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks off the bench. She was 6 for 6 from the field, and I thought she had her best game in the SEC. She's a 6'7" freshman from Portugal that just showed up at the start of school, August 24th or whatever it was, and she's had a big adjustment to the game, to the speed of the SEC, the physicality of the SEC. And the other night against LSU, who has Anissa Morrow and Michaela Williams, and they're really tough and physical, I thought Claudia Silva played her absolute best game. And I've got a clip here. This is from UK, and I want to show you guys the clip of Silva and some of her play the other night.
Silva calling for it, working on Smith. Goes to the right side and uses the glass. How about Silva extending minutes? Plays about 12 a game. Starting to hit that number. Good block by Silva. Flage back to Smith. Blocked by Silva. Oh, the cross. Amor Silva, 10-footer down it, and another assist for Georgia. Silva, 2 feet in the paint with the catch, and the fade for the big girl. A Kenny Brooks special.
I thought she really played well, John. That little step back fade that she's got for a 6'7" girl to have that in her repertoire, to me, people that can block that.
No, it's special, and I've said it. There's going to be that one game where everything just clicks. First half, second half. They're going to get a lead, say, into the halftime, and they're going to come out in the second half, and they're going to make it happen. And I'm going to be honest with you, Brad. I wouldn't be shocked if it comes in the tournament. Them making a run. They're playing for a top 4 seed, a chance to opportunity to play home games. This game against Tennessee is absolutely huge.
Tomorrow night, it is a home sellout. It is the rival Tennessee, and the Lady Vols, the vaunted Lady Vols, are coming to Memorial tomorrow night. And like I said, it is a sellout. Now, there is so many implications for this game. Yep. Kentucky is still in the top 4 for a double bye. However, lose this game and lose South Carolina, and that probably is not going to happen. Not probably. I don't think it will. This game, you win this game tomorrow night, and there are so many implications. I will get to that in just a few minutes. But, John, I want to start out by saying Kim Caldwell's a first-year head coach at Tennessee as well.
Done a good job.
And she's done a really good job at Tennessee. And listen, we're Kentucky fans, but I will fully admit when somebody's done a good job.
She took a whole team in, new players, roster, transfer portal. Cooper's playing really, really well for them, Elijah Cooper. It's not every day, Brad, that you get a women's
on here. It says go Vols.
that you get a women's coach that has a baby and coaches 2 days after she loves basketball.
Like 5 days after she had a baby. Yeah.
After she had a baby, she's
like
back in the court. Like, she's embedded in hoops. She loves basketball. She's a great coach. What she's doing at the University of Tennessee is special, and it's going to get even better for them. They got a pretty good recruiting class coming in next year. And she come from Marshall, Brad.
Yeah, she did. She was only at Marshall 1 year. She was at an even smaller school before that. So,
and it's impressive, what she's been able to accomplish, because Tennessee, I want to say this, Brad, and this is no disrespect to Tennessee. Tennessee was going in a bad direction when it comes to hoops.
I think Kelly Harper was doing a pretty decent job.
I thought she did good, but
she almost won beat South Carolina last year in the SEC tournament. I mean, within the last second shot, 3-pointer by Camila Cardoso, who doesn't shoot 3-pointers, by the way.
What I'm saying, from a normal Tennessee standards, it wasn't normal Tennessee standards.
No,
it was.
But Tennessee's Lady Vol standards are top Final Fours.
Final Four, national championships. That's just what it is.
That's
Tennessee expects that.
Let's talk about this game tomorrow night. So Tennessee, and like I said, we've got Deja Lawrence's mother on with us, and Deja has been a real big key for this team all season long. She's a great shooter. She's averaging nearly 13 points a game, and she's going to be a key tomorrow night. But this Tennessee team, John, they play helter-skelter. They press. They run 10, 11 girls in and out of the lineup all night long. Kim Caldwell is subbing players and running them in and out all night, all game. And here's what's going on with Tennessee. They usually make runs in the second half. And we all just sat here, including Deja's mother, and talked about how we're having trouble in the third and fourth quarters. Tomorrow night's going to be absolutely key against this Tennessee team. They create a lot of turnovers. They speed you up, create a lot of turnovers. Deja and Georgia are going to have to play at 100% their best because, John, Kenny doesn't sub as much.
No.
Most of these girls, Deja, the starting lineup, Georgia, Amelia, Tayani, Strack, they're all playing 34, 35 plus minutes a game. And the pace and the way they run the girls in and out tomorrow night is really going to take a toll. And these girls are going to have to play big in the third and fourth quarter.
And the thing is, too, Brad, Tennessee's been battle tested. They're 6-6 against quadrant one teams. They got 5 players in double digits.
Yes. Please tell Deja to go for 29 tomorrow night.
Malaysia Cooper, Jewel Spear, Ruby Whitehorn. Ruby Whitehorn has played outstanding for Tennessee. She's a really, really good player. And then you got Z Spearman and Samara Spencer. This is a good Tennessee team that they're going up against.
I love it. I love it.
And we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's in this game. We're not going to be able to get behind. You're going to have to start fast.
I mean, Tennessee is all season long, John. They come back and make a game of it in the second half. I mean, Florida the other night, they were down 9 on Sunday. They were down 9 at halftime. Come back and beat them by like 10 or 11. They've done it all season long against these teams. They've done it against UConn. They were down at, and come back and won in the second half.
Here's where it gets dicey, Brad. I said you was talking about the double bye, right? Kentucky loses this game. Tennessee has Georgia Sunday.
Yes, I know. And we have South Carolina. Which means it'll be a tie. We'll have the same records, but Tennessee will have the tiebreaker if they beat us tomorrow night.
Yeah, and they have the easier game of the two.
Yep.
And the stakes are really, really high for this.
It is. It's absolutely.
And Brooks mentioned that. He was talking about how he said, we know how big this game is.
There are so many implications in this game, John. So Kentucky, the women are sitting at 10-4. They're in 4th place right this minute as we speak. Okay. There are 3 teams below them by just 1 game. Now, 2 of those teams, Kentucky has the head-to-head battle against.
Yeah.
Oklahoma and Alabama.
Yeah.
They have the head-to-head against. Okay? So if they tie, they will be ahead of Oklahoma and Alabama.
Yeah.
There's 1 team behind them they don't have the head-to-head win against, and that's Ole Miss. Okay? So if they don't win both games,
they got to have some head.
And Ole Miss goes 1-1, they will tie. Ole Miss will get the tiebreaker, the head-to-head tiebreaker. Tennessee tomorrow night they're 2 games behind Kentucky, but if they play Georgia, who's one of the bottom teams, we play South Carolina. If we don't win tomorrow night, we will have a tied record, but Tennessee will get the head-to-head tiebreaker.
And then you're going to have to hope that you pull an upset in the Colonial Life Center, which is going to be tough.
The Colonial Life in Columbia, which is probably not going to happen. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Listen, I love to beat them, but I'm going to be extremely more honest with you right now. If I had to pick, John, of winning Sunday versus South Carolina or winning in the SEC tournament versus South Carolina, I'm
Really
picking the SEC tournament.
Yeah, because it's a neutral floor. Yeah.
If I had to choose one, I'm picking SEC tournament.
I gotta
knock their ass out in the SEC tournament.
I gotta ask you a question real quick before we move on to their outlook. Do you think Kenny Brooks knows how big this rivalry is?
Actually, no. I asked him post game about this rivalry. That was my question. I asked him about this rivalry. Of course, this is his first year. They are learning. Of course, he has his own little rivalry where they have played Tennessee. Like I said, they beat Tennessee in 2023 in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four. So there is, he does have a little history with Tennessee himself. So he talked a little bit about that post game on Sunday, but he's learning these rivalries. He's a Virginia guy. He's not a Kentucky guy. So he's learning. This is any Kentucky person knows that these two fan bases
do not like each other,
and teams, they do not like each other at all. Okay. Now, for me, man, there's a respect for what Pat Summitt's done, what she did, and what she's done for the women's game. Okay?
Brad, you never talk about the men's team like this.
I don't. That's because I don't. What do they have? The women's team has a history. They have a winning history.
I like to get you stirred up.
The men ain't never been to the Final Four. They ain't got jack, okay? But the Lady Vols,
I got some history there.
I have to respect 8 national championships.
Yep.
What Pat Summitt did for women's basketball, women's sports.
And while you're at it, Deja's mom, look around the area and see if you can find any more North Carolina shooters like Deja that can come to UK. That's what we really need. That's what we really need.
No more Tobacco Road. Send them to
Lexington.
The real blue.
The real blue, not that what royal blue, like royal blue stuff. Oh goodness.
All right, so that's talking a little bit. Of course, we get South Carolina. I've already kind of mentioned that. We get South Carolina on Sunday. It is at the Colonial Life. They don't have that streak anymore. 71-game streak was snapped. 71-game win streak was snapped by Texas maybe a week or two ago.
Say this about North Carolina or South Carolina, Brad, real quick. There is nobody in the country that can develop and motivate their team better than Don Staley. And I say that because after that game, they went on a spree of just whipping teams.
They have, yeah. Listen, it's not going to be pretty. They're going to come in and be ready to play. I promise you. Our girls better be ready to show up and shoot inside the Colonial Life, because after those losses, they're ready to whip everybody's ass. And I'm just going to be honest.
That's just who Dawn Staley is. She motivates. She knows how to get them to play together. We're getting ready to talk about the men's side, Shane, here in a minute. South Carolina, I know everybody said, whoa, they lost to UConn. But this South Carolina team's still a title contender. They had one bad game.
100%. They have 9 McDonald's All-Americans. They have 10, but one of them, Ashlyn Watkins, is out.
Yeah, she's out.
Yeah.
So
So
tough game.
I want to
tough
end
game,
this.
man.
I want to end this. Next week is the SEC tournament, women's tournament. I will be going. I am super, super excited about going for my second trip to Greenville to the Bond Secure.
You had a little bit of fireworks last year in that tournament.
I did, man. There was some wild stuff that happened down there last year, and I cannot wait to go back. I mean, the Camila Cardosa 3 over Tennessee, let's just call it the wildness that happened with LSU and the fight that broke out. There was a little bit more than just a fight that broke out. I do know who it was. We talked about it on air. I really haven't mentioned
it. We talked about it last year. Yeah.
But we did. Let's just say Flage's a family member come out on the court.
Yeah.
It was a little crazy what
intense.
went on at the SEC women's tournament last year. But it was fun. I had a blast.
I'm going to say this, Brad, about their outlook real quick. Then I kind of let you go from there. I've said it from the men's side and the women's side. I think the SEC tournament is going to be harder to win than the NCAA because you got so many better teams in that. And on the women's side, you're not going to have as many upsets as later in the rounds as you go because every team is more equal.
Well, right now, before we go off of this, the women are setting bracketology are still setting as a 3 seed.
Yeah, which is good.
So this game tomorrow night is absolutely, if you can stay a 3 seed, you're not on the 1 line in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. But
you at least get to match up with a 2 seed.
But
have
here's
a chance to go to the Elite 8.
But here's where it gets murky. You lose to Tennessee and South Carolina, you could drop to a 4 or 5. And I've seen that happen in these cases. You want to at least split one of these, preferably Tennessee, because South Carolina is going to be a tough out Sunday. Now, I know you was talking about how you think, the women have a tough time Sunday, but I've seen stranger things happen. Let's just put it that way. And could you imagine?
It happened with Matthew
Kentucky
Mitchell.
Team going into South Carolina and going 2-0 to enter the SEC tournament.
Probably 12 or 13, somewhere around there would probably be my guess, Shane.
You couldn't ask for a better start to the tournament play. If you was to pull a 2-0 slate right
if we win tomorrow night versus Tennessee, I'll be honest with you guys. I think we will, unless we just flat lay an egg in the SEC tournament, yeah. I think we will remain a 3 seed if we can win tomorrow night.
I do. Yep. I don't think so, Shane. I don't think they've ever been a 1 seed, the girls.
I don't believe so.
I think
we were 2 or 3.
2 or 3 with Matthew Mitchell.
With Matthew Mitchell a couple of times, I'm pretty sure.
They had some opportunities to be a 1 seed with Matthew Mitchell.
Yeah, yeah.
But they never did get one, I don't think.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to move on to the men's side of things, and I'm going to start this out with a little bit of practice, some shooting from the team in Norman, Oklahoma today.
Did you notice in a few of those clips, all the attention was on Otega Owe?
Yep, there's a reason for that. He played there last year.
There's a reason for that. He played there last year. Well, he's actually been there 2 years. He was actually there for 2 years for Oklahoma. I kind of want to go back to the Alabama game real quick, Brad, before we move on.
I was going to start with that. Kentucky losing at Alabama.
Kentucky got out to what, 30-18 lead. It looked good for a while. They was shots. It was really, they couldn't miss. Alabama missed some shots.
We got somebody that's going to blow up tonight.
And then all of a sudden, Kentucky just at times forgot how to play. Their lineup rotations got kind of flunky. Amari Williams, he took Amari Williams out a couple times that I felt like he never needed to. Pope did some lineup rotations that kind of made me I don't know how to explain it, Brett. Just it confused me at times with how he uses his lineups. And they just never.
I think he's having to do some stuff right now the last few games that he normally wouldn't have done. He's had to throw some different lineups out there.
Well, and I get that. With Butler out and Robinson out.
Yeah.
You've had to mix and match guys, and it's been tough. But I'm gonna say this with Butler and Robinson coming back, this is kind of to add to Trent Noah and Travis Perry. Everybody, they love seeing Perry, they love seeing Noah do some great things, but you're probably not going forward. You're probably not going to see them as much now.
No, probably not. But
now,
John, getting back to Alabama here real quick, because I wanted to say a couple things about Alabama game here. So us going to Alabama, this Alabama team is loaded. Let's be honest.
They beat Mississippi State last night.
They have a lot of talent, and to go down there without Butler and without Robinson, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think there was much chance of us getting the win, just to be honest. And I thought we played pretty well, to be honest. Travis Perry trying to guard Mark Sears is an issue, guys. Listen, I love Travis Perry, but he's not ready to guard Mark Sears.
No,
Mark Sears is probably going to be a first-team All-American.
And all SEC.
If not, he's going to be a second-team All-American. So, he's just not quite ready to guard Mark Sears. And I thought we went down there and showed pretty good. And the boys like Chandler and Noah and Perry are coming along pretty nicely, to be honest with you.
Chandler's actually played better a little bit as of recent than Noah has.
Yeah,
Noah's kind of hit a Noah's
the
hit
last
a wall.
Couple of games, yes. Yeah,
last couple of while, Noah's hit a wall.
I think they're growing well, and the Alabama game kind of showed that. Now, let's move on, and we're playing Oklahoma. I do want to get to a few things. One is Otega Oweh is going back to where he played. He spent 2 years there. He's his old coach. He's got old teammates there.
Yep.
But there's also a couple of other connections. Jackson Robinson and Brandon Garrison are both from Oklahoma. Jackson Robinson, Sam Godwin, that plays for Oklahoma, and Jackson Robinson are from the same town. They grew up together, played ball together since the 6th grade. I don't know if a lot of Kentucky fans know this or not, but there is a bunch of connections tonight in this game that we are fixing to see in a little over an hour between our players and Oklahoma team, Oklahoma players, and just being from Oklahoma. Brandon Garrett played at Oklahoma State, but he's from Oklahoma.
Yep. And the availability report just came out. Jackson, Robinson, and Butler are not on it. So
Looks
gonna
like
play.
they will be playing.
they're going to play.
So
Now,
that was my next point here.
That begs the question, Brad. How many do they play? 20 minutes? Do they play 15 minutes? Do they even start? Now, I think Butler starts. Now, Robinson, they might ease him back into the lineup, ease him back into the rotation, just because I think Robinson has probably I wouldn't say a bigger injury, but it's a more hideous situation than what Butler's is with his wrist, his shooting wrist. But overall, if
Butler's is his off shoulder. So
say you get 10 from Robinson, right? You get maybe 12, 11 from Butler. You should win this game.
I'll be honest with you, Shane. I think both of them are going to be limited tonight. I don't think either one of them will be full bore going out there and playing 30 minutes. When I said what it means, I would not be surprised. And I told John this earlier. I would not be surprised if either one of them are not in the starting lineup to start this game. Maybe both of them. It would not surprise me. Butler already tried to come back and played and re-injured this shoulder once. It would not surprise me at all if he comes off the bench in this game and works his way back to the physicality of playing 20, 25, 30 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? And I think the same thing with Jackson's wrist. I think it's going to be possible that both of these guys play like 15 minutes apiece tonight.
Thanks, Tim.
On a limited role.
Tim said he shared it to his group page. I was just thanking him. So, here's the thing that I tell people about Robinson and Jackson, or Robinson and Butler. They changed the whole dynamics of this team, Brad. When you got your point guard, when you got an on-ball defender like Butler, when you got a shooter like Jackson that can really do things with the basketball in his hands, it changes their whole outlook for March. They go from I mentioned it in the article, they go from a good team to a really good team. To maybe a fringe top 25 team outside to probably a top 10 team.
Oh, I think with Butler and Robinson healthy and ready to go 25, 30 minutes a game, which I don't think that's where we are tonight.
No.
But I think with them healthy and ready to go 25, 30 minutes a game, I think we're a top 10 team.
Now, with Auburn, you're probably going to need them for at least 20, 25 minutes. I mean, that's just – because here's the thing. I like Travis Perry. I like Trent Noah. I think they're great kids. I think that they're improving. They're getting valuable minutes with experience.
Perry scored 12 points against Bama the other night.
Yeah, but Auburn's a different animal.
Auburn
is – I know. I'm just saying Auburn's a different animal. They're probably the best team in the sport. You're going to have all hands on deck for this game Saturday. And I think that's part of the reason why I think you limit the restrictions tonight and you get out of Oklahoma with a win and you worry about Saturday when it gets here. Because this is a crucial game. I know everybody.
It is a crucial game. It's a crucial game for Kentucky, 100%.
It's a midweek game. It's a 9:00 start. It's a late start. How will they come out? How will they respond? I think you have to have this game, I think, for seeding. Because you lose this game, you could drop to a 4.
Listen, John, we lose this game and lose one more. I still think we could drop to a 5. I mean,
you're not.
I still believe that.
Worst case scenario is they're going to be a 5 seed. They're not going to be a 6. Let's just leave it out there. They got too many good wins on their resume, and we've said it for many, many years, even the last 3 or 4 years, that the conference tournament.
I mean, let's be honest though. There's not too many 3 seeds ever that had 10 plus wins. I mean, 10 plus losses.
Yeah, but not many.
Not ever.
Not many teams in the SEC either have been historically good, and Kentucky's won with their resume either. And that's a lot of the gripe among, I've seen it on JBR's bracketology, NKY. People keep saying, why is Missouri, why is St. John's not ahead of Kentucky? And I'll tell you exactly why they're not. Their resume. They beat Florida.
Listen,
they beat
St. John's, they have played, not beat, quad 1, wins, losses. They have played one top 30 net ranking team this entire year, Marquette.
And then
now, UConn's not up there.
Mm-mm.
Right now, they have only played one top 30 in the net rankings.
I think Missouri has had, 2, 3 at most.
Yeah.
So I can understand the logic for Missouri, but St. John's I don't, because they haven't really played anybody in the top 30. Except Marquette. So great opportunity tonight. Big opportunity going forward, Brad, with the tournament. Hopefully we're back on the mend when it comes to getting.
Well, before we kind of go on and kind of get off,
I wanted to bring this up too. I think Amari. Let me say this, and then I'll let you. I think Amari's playing at elite level right now.
I think he's playing at a SEC. Like, I think he should be all SEC.
I do. And Andrew Carr, I'm going to say this too. He looked like old Andrew Carr Saturday night. Didn't
early season.
Didn't seem phased with his back. Hit what, couple threes.
Speaking of hitting 3, here's one. Enjoy one, because I got one clip. It's real quick.
Sears. Good pass, Williams. Carr, yes. That's their money spot. That absolutely is Kentucky's money spot. Both those corners are always filled.
And you see him, running back. He don't seem like he looks like he's healthy for the first time.
Bouncing a little bit when he's running.
Now he's still using that brace when he goes to the bench some.
I think it's heated, though. I think it's helping him keep his back loose.
Keep his back loose, yeah. But you notice what I noticed on that clip? The bench. They've been like that all season long.
Yeah.
They play for each other. They love each other. That they appreciate one another. Brad, this is a really, I wouldn't say it's a great team, but it's a great individual group of talented players.
It's a close-knit team for sure. These are
and Amari Williams, I know everybody was going on about his limited minutes, but it's tough on a guy to play the way he plays and the way he initiates it's tough to play 30, 35 minutes.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Monday night was on the Mark Pope show. Pope kind of explained, and not kind of, he actually explained it really well. They monitor and they have stats, efficiency stats. If he plays between 22 and 28 minutes, he is at his peak play. If he goes beyond that, he starts creating a lot of turnovers. And if you noticed in that Alabama game late
in the game,
late in the game, he had 2 or 3 turnovers late in the game.
He was forcing a lot of stuff.
And if you go back and you watch late in that game, he played a little bit over, and Pope says this is not just this year. This is his entire career at Drexel as well. So Amari Williams has played less than 10 games his entire career. And that's 4 seasons at Drexel.
Well,
and played above 30 minutes a game.
And 2, like with Pope, his analytics, he's a very big analytics
That's what
guy.
I'm talking about.
And he's going to go. He's going to
his analytics and his efficiency numbers go down, and he's played 10 or less games of 30 minutes his entire career.
Yep.
Which I thought was like Pope really explained it. And now I'm like, okay, because Sunday I was like, why the hell did he take him out in the first half when we had that lead and left him on the bench for 6-7 minutes? Well, now I kind of understand why he's doing it.
But you gotta, when that happens, you gotta have other guys step up, and at that time we didn't. That just happens in games. It's just
I agree with that. We didn't for sure. All right, we talked about SEC tournament implications and NCAA for the women. So I want to talk a little bit about it for the men too. So we have kind of discussed it. I mean, tonight's big. To stay above 500 in the SEC, to stay above the top 8 line, because that at least gives you a bye. You fall below the 8 line, John, and you're playing 5 straight days now in the SEC since they added 2 teams. All 8 of 9 through 16 have to play extra day.
But I'll be fair here. If I'm a Kentucky fan, I'm cheering for the 7 seed. I know that it's probably going to be that length of, but you set yourself up with, say, a 2 seed Auburn or 2 seed Alabama or 2 seed Florida, compared to just running into an Auburn team right after you just played them.
Yep. I mean, I said that. I really don't want to be the 8 seed. I want to be a 7 seed, 6 or 7 seed. That I think that's where our money spot is going to be. I really don't want to play Tennessee again, not because I don't think we can't beat them. I just think it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Yeah, Alabama's the same way. Here's where I think you kind of have a positive. I know it's not going to be a negative. It's going to be a negative thing between the fans, but say you get that 8 seed and you play, say, Ole Miss, South Carolina,
Mississippi State,
somebody around there, and you win that game. Well, you play Auburn. Wouldn't the best idea be to lose that game and get ready for the tournament?
I mean, John, if you want my opinion, to really answer that, I will have to see how the next 4 games play out.
I say that because
if we lose 3 out of 4 of these games, then absolutely not. We need to beat Auburn in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, I agree with you. But if you win at least 2 of these games, maybe even 3, say you go on the road and beat Missouri, which is going to be tough. Missouri is really, really good. But say you beat Missouri, you win 3 of those games, and the only loss is to Auburn.
Yeah.
I think, you maybe lose that game in the
if we can win 3, I think we might stay off of playing Auburn. We won't be on the 8th line.
Here's the thing the reason I say that for is because, now some games matter in the conference tournament like bubble games, okay? But we've always been known that conference tournament, certain games don't matter. Saturday don't matter. Sunday don't matter. It just don't matter to the selection committee. What matters is the March Madness and being healthy. Conference tournaments have kind of went the wayside, and I kind of agree with Calipari on this, because he mentioned this a couple years ago about how it really
I
don't
absolutely
matter.
do not agree with anything Calipari said about the SEC tournament.
I don't
Not
think
at
it.
all.
I mean, I like it, but it's just a money.
Listen, Kentucky's history, we own the SEC tournament.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I think it's just
the idea, if you're a real Kentucky fan, a true Kentucky fan, the idea that we're just okay, it doesn't really matter. We don't need it. The games don't matter. It's a tournament. Who the hell cares? That's just an absolute pissy, just ridiculous attitude. If that's the case, you could pack your bags and move to a different state. I'm serious. It's a heart attack. Just like Calipari did. Because I'm sorry, no. 100% no. That's the way I feel about it.
Well, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it really affects what you're going to do in March. That's my
I do. I think that's exactly what has been wrong with Kentucky for the last 5 years. Because when we were whipping ass in the SEC tournament, we were winning a whole bunch of games and getting to Elite Eights and Final Fours, and all of a sudden, since about 2018, when we stopped giving a shit about the SEC tournament, then all of a sudden Kentucky's having these issues in the NCAA tournament.
I'm going to tell you.
And we can't find wins in the NCAA tournament. Guess what? It's because we don't really matter, and it don't really care, and it's not really any implications, and it don't make no difference. And you start bringing that attitude to a basketball game and a tournament, and I'm going to tell you what happens. The next week in the NCAA tournament, they kick your ass. That's why it matters.
And I'm going to say this to get off that topic, because Brad's going to get on one of his little ranty raves. For March, there's a big cloud of I don't know how to explain. There's a big cloud hanging over this program right now when it comes to March Madness. I'm not talking about SEC tournament. SEC tournament's been bad, but March Madness.
SEC tournament's probably been worse than March Madness.
Yeah, but we haven't been out of the first weekend since 2019 with Tyler Hero. That's a problem.
Guess what? We haven't won the SEC tournament since 17 or 18 maybe.
Yeah, it's been a while for it too.
It's been a long ass time. For Kentucky, it's been a long ass time.
I say that to say this as we end our show. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Mark Pope to win that first game. And it's not going to be his fault either. It's going to be because of the Calipari last 3 or 4 years.
Are you talking about NCAA? Are you talking about
the
NCAA? What are you talking about?
Because of the losses to St. Peter's and Kansas State and Oakland, it's going to be pressure on Mark Pope.
Man, you're making me depressed.
But it's just the truth, though, Brad. I mean, it's as much as you don't want it to be, it is, and it's not going to be his fault. But a lot of it has to do with the last 3 or 4 years. And that first game, getting that win, is going to be crucial.
And guess what? Guess what's going to be crucial? The last few games here and having a hell of a lot of momentum from the SEC tournament.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Yeah.
You go in to the SEC tournament and act like it doesn't matter and it don't care and nobody like and all this stuff, and you go in and get your ass beat and have to go home 3 days before 2-3 days before the end of the tournament, and you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs for an extra 3 days. And guess what? You go into the NCAA tournament and the same shit happens. You got to build some momentum. I am super happy that Butler and Robinson are back so we can get our guys back in and start building some momentum.
And I'm going to say real quick, the outlook for the team. Without these two, it's murky. Let's just be honest, Brad.
100%.
You're not.
It's not looking good.
You're probably not going to get out of the first weekend, and I know that's probably not going to be real pleasant with the Kentucky fans. Now, depending on matchups, you might win the first one, but the second one's going to be tough.
Without Butler and Robinson, 100%.
Now, you have Butler and Robinson. Now, they're probably not going to be 100%. They're probably going to be 85, 90. And that's fine because there's probably going to be some surges at the end of the year, according to some people, that they're probably going to have to look into stuff after the end of the year. But if you can get an 85, 90% Butler and Robinson, you probably got an Elite 18 as the ceiling at worst.
Maybe at best. No, I mean, Sweet 16 to Elite 8.
Sweet 16 is probably the floor.
Yeah.
Or no. Yeah. Sweet 16 is the floor. But the ceiling's probably Elite 8. Now, if you get a kind of a decent
who
bracket,
knows?
Which
Elite
we never
8,
had.
We might be matched up with another SEC team.
Yeah, that's just with so many SEC teams in the tournament.
Let's be honest.
It's going to happen to some teams.
Oh,
because there's so many teams that's going to make the tournament.
I might be matched up with Alabama or Florida or Tennessee.
Here's why I think having that 3 seed matters, Brad. And a lot of fans say, well, you need to get healthy. You need to lose, maybe sacrifice a few games before the tournament. And I say no.
I don't want to be on the 4 seed.
I'm going to say this to say that, and I'll tell you why. The 1 seeds this year are ferocious.
You're going to have Auburn. You're going to have Houston.
You get on that 4 or 5 line.
Duke.
You get on that 4 or 5 line, you're probably looking at Auburn, Duke, Houston in the Sweet 16.
Maybe Alabama. But if you get on that 3 line, you probably get a team like Texas Tech, Michigan State. Who's another? Maybe a Houston. Like I said, they might not get a 1 seed. They might get a 2. Tennessee. You got a better chance at getting to the Elite 8 than you do by going past a 1 seed. I think so.
And I think that's where you're hoping that.
I think the same thing on the women's side. That's what I was talking about on the women's side too.
Well, on the women's side, but here's the thing about the women's side. When you get towards the Sweet 16 Elite 8, you don't see many upsets. Now you might see maybe once in a blue moon.
I mean, a 2 might beat a 1, or a 3 might beat a 2, or something like that.
It rarely happens on the women's side much. Like now, you'll see
a true upset where you see a 7 beat a 2 or an 8 beat a 1.
Yeah, you don't usually
see that much.
Now you might see a 12 beat a 5 or a 4 beat a 13 or something like that early in the first round.
Yeah.
But overall, you don't really, as you go forward in the tournament, you don't see that like you do the men. The men, I think, are a little bit different because there's a lot more playing ground and there's different dynamics to it. Because you got maybe a team like, let me put it out there, Auburn, and they go up against a team like what's a 5 seed, maybe a 4, Iowa State. Yeah. You're going to have different matchups to run from in those kind of games. Yeah. And women are more equal compared to the men. So But anyways, didn't want to get on a big long rant about the tournament, but I'm just excited, Brad. We got an opportunity tonight to kind of add to our quad one game. This is a quad one game, believe it or not, on the road,
which is crazy.
With the way Oklahoma
Jeremiah Fears is a really good player.
He is.
And they're at home.
Jalen Moore's really good too.
Yeah, Moore's a good one too.
But the thing about Oklahoma that I've said from day one,
Godwin can shoot if you leave him open.
Yeah. The thing about Oklahoma is they tend to go in streaks of where they don't hit, and they can't shoot, and they have lapses. If Kentucky could get hot and hit some shots, we saw Mississippi State, but that was another team that blew them out at home. There's a couple of games where Oklahoma got behind and just they dominated them at Norman. You get a lead on this team, you got a good chance of winning this game because they're not a great team at coming back.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap up this show. We appreciate you being on with us. The game comes on. I'm going to try to eat a bite before the game comes on, so I'm going to wrap this up.
Prayers to you, Brad. I know you're dealing with some stuff. I just wanted you to say that.
So
I just wanted to say
I'm going to try to eat a bite before the game comes on here, and hopefully everything goes okay here tonight. But anyways, it is the second to last day of February, guys. March is almost here.
It is. It's went by fast, Brad. We're almost through.
Put that up on the screen. I did have a tribute to March Madness come out today. I had a Maxwell Hairston NFL Combine article come out.
You're chasing me, man.
John put out a Butler and Robinson article today. So go to Stadium Brand, check all those out. We appreciate it.
You're chasing me now, Brad. You're on the back.
I just try to close out the month and some money. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all, man.
Brad, all right, I was going to tell you real quick before we log off here. It's been amazing, Brad, to do these HoopsCasts with you. It's went, like I said, it's went by fast with March coming up. The girls' season, we never would have thought that they would have been in the position they are. We was just doing this, 3 or 4 months ago, just previewing it, and we didn't have any idea what was going to go on. And it's been a really fun year.
For it to be both of our teams have a chance to be a top 3 or 4 seed for the men's and women's. I mean, it's just been a blast.
And hopefully we can get a little momentum in this tournament where we can enter into the second years of these coaches and do some damage with the portal. And because, we got our Kentucky kid, Jasper Johnson, coming next year, which that's going to be a lot of fun.
And Malachi. Can't forget Malachi Marino.
They're going to be fun next year. So, but we'll get there when we get there.
All right, guys. We will see you
Monday night.
Friday night.
That's right. Yeah.
This week. We'll see you Friday night.
Next week, we'll have to rearrange some stuff because of the SEC.
I'll be in SEC Greenville. So, all right. Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one, guys.